What's up foodies, and welcome back to another recipe video. This one is for a keto lasagna, and what that essentially means is that there is no pasta in this lasagna, but it's still just as delicious, as sumptuous, as yummy, as mouth-watering and tantalizing like any lasagna you'd get from a restaurant. Kindly check the video description for a list of all the ingredients that I used to prepare this meal, and with that being said, let's get into this video. Let's take a look at some of the ingredients that I'm going to be using to prepare this meal. My main ingredient is cabbage, and that is going to be my pasta replacement. I'm also going to be using some spring onions. You can use white onions or red onions, whatever you prefer. In addition to that, I am using minced meat. This is a low-fat option. And to cook everything nicely, I have cheddar, cheese, as well as mozzarella, because that's what I'm going to be using to do the filling that a typical lasagna would have. I'm also going to be using the following seasonings on the screen. I use paprika as well, but I didn't just show it at this point. But you can season your meat to your taste. And to cook my meat, I'm going to be using olive oil. I'm also going to be combining my filling with eggs so everything binds together nicely. Now that we have the ingredients out of the way, it's time to cook. In a saucepan, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and I'm going to heat it up to medium to high heat. This is about 7 on my induction hob, and I'm just putting in my minced meat here, and I'm going to cook this until it turns from this pink color to light brown. A lot of water and oil will be released, but that's fine. Once you add your seasoning and cook it a little bit more for an additional 2 to 3 minutes, all of the water will be absorbed and mixed in well with all of the ingredients that you have at this point. Now I'm adding paprika because I want the color of my meat to be a rich brown tone, and I'm not going to be using tomatoes for my recipe because I've seen there is the option of using tomatoes to cook your meat sauce, but I don't want to add water that will be transferred into my lasagna. Now I'm going to add some chopped onions. This is spring onion. You can use white or red onion, whatever you like. And this I'm just going to cook for an additional 2 minutes and set it aside to cool down. This is what the meat is looking like so far, and honestly you can eat it like this at this point. Off camera, I've washed and separated my cabbage leaves, and this is what they look like. I didn't use the entire cabbage, I only used like half, so just bear that in mind when you're making yours. In a bowl, I'm mixing the mozzarella with the cheddar cheese. I'm using 1 cup of cheddar, and I'm going to be topping up the lasagna later on with more cheddar, but for this particular mix I'm using 1 cup. Then I'm going to add 1 egg and mix everything together using a fork or whatever utensil that you have. Mozzarella is kind of like a cloud ball, and you need to like really mush it down well to combine it with the other cheese. Once this has been mixed up, I'm actually going to go into season my cheese. This I learned from my husband, and I'm seasoning with salt, pepper, and garlic powder to taste. You can add oregano or any other herbs that you like to add to your meals. I'm going to mix everything up together so it is well mixed. Now that this has been combined really well, it's time to layer everything in a dish. You would want to use a dish that is safe for baking. I'm using this glass dish, and the first layer I'm going to put in mine is a layer of cooked meat. This has cooled down, and I'm just spreading it thinly on the bottom of my baking container like so. Then I'm going to go in and add a second layer of the cheese mix that I made in the bowl. This I'm going to spread evenly across the meat, and once I'm done doing that, I'm going to go in with a third layer, which is my cabbage leaves. This is the point where I'm swapping out the pasta for cabbage, and it just makes this lasagna not as heavy. That's what I found when I ate it. I didn't feel very bloated, I didn't feel very full. Once that is done, you essentially just repeat the process until your ingredients run out or until your container is almost full. Try and leave just a little bit of space on top, because if there is like a spill, overcook, your container can take everything. On top here, I'm just drizzling and sprinkling some extra cheddar because I love cheese like that. And once every corner has been covered in cheese, this is what it looks like close up. Once everything is in my glass dish, I'm going to bake this in the oven for 30 minutes on medium to high heat. And after baking, I allowed it to cool for 30 minutes before serving because it comes out of the oven piping hot. Once I have served to the side, this is what it looks like up close. This was so good. I kid you not. Like, my husband had this and texted me from work that the lasagna was amazing, and that just made me so happy because it just means this is another dish that we can have week to week, month to month, and enjoy without a lot of guilt because it has less carb in it. But if you do try out this recipe, don't forget to tag me on social media at Conscious Foodie. And until next time, stay happy and healthy. Bye.